Hey everybody, welcome back to Master Duel. We're going to be doing something a little different today. I'm always saving these replays, and I never really know what exactly to do with them, but I've got them all. So I figured we'd go over a couple replays today. I'd show you one of my personal favorite decks. Not one of the ones that I play for the Clearing Solo Mode series, but one that I play in my own personal time. And this is my Cyberdragon brew. This is a really fun Cyberdragon deck. And I like it a lot. This is a blind going second deck with the goal of power bonding into Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon for an OTK. If you don't know, when you summon this card with Power Bond, it has 4,200 attack. It pops 2 spell and traps on the field. It destroys 2 back row, and then it can attack 3 times. So this card right here, game winner. But getting to that is a little difficult. The reason that this deck works on Master Duel and doesn't work in the TCG is because Master Duel is a best of 1 format, so blind going second decks are stronger in Master Duel than they are in the TCG, because your opponent is going to almost always choose to go first if they win the coin toss, and if you win the coin toss, you just choose to go second. It's as easy as that. Which makes decks like this very powerful because nobody expects to see them. But I'm going to go over the deck list. We've got 1 Cyberdragon Ertz. This card is very good. It's just you don't need to see multiple copies of it. Normally, you want to send it off of Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon, but if you send it off of Foolish Burial or use it as fusion material, its effect still goes off, and it adds a Cyberdragon from your deck to your hand. 2, Nashter. I'd love to run this at 3, I just don't have space for it. This card is a great combo piece, but it's not great for making fusions. It's great for making the XCs and the Link. Obviously, 3 Maxi. Wait, what are you going to do? You need it. It's a must-play. 3 Cyberdragon Core. This is your primary searcher. Our normal goal for this is normal summon Core and search our 1 of Cyberdark Realm. We'll see that in the replays. 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Like Maxi, you have to play it. You don't have a choice. 1 Cyberdark Chimera. This is our Power Bond searcher. We grab this off of Cyberdark Realm. You never want this in your opening hand, which is why we only run 1 of it. We want to search it off of Realm, normal summon it, pitch a spell to add Power Bond. 3 of the boy himself, Cyberdragon. We run this less because it's Cyberdragon and more to make Fortress Dragon and Mega Fleet Dragon. He's required to make these. You can use the other Cyberdragons for it. It's just better if you do it with Cyberdragon himself. 2 Galaxy Soldier. This is to make the Xyz monster. 1 Theron King Regulus. I've considered bumping this guy up to 2. He's really good, but honestly, I search him off of Clockwork Knights so frequently that running multiple just seems like it'll break. And 1 Jizukiru, the Star-Destroying Kaiju. If for some reason you can't activate Clockwork Knights, you can always Jizz on them. Foolish Burial, send 1 monster from deck to graveyard. You can send Hertz off of this, you can send Cyberdragon himself, you can even send Core off of this to activate his secondary effect. Really good. Machine Dupe. This card is in here mostly because it's funny. I think the deck would actually be stronger and more consistent if I pulled them out, but if you're ever in a really bad sitch, you can normal summon Hertz, Nashter, or Core, and then activate Machine Duplication. And because of the way Machine Duplication is written, it summons 2 monsters from your deck with the same name as the face-up monster. All 3 of these monsters are called Cyberdragon while face-up on the field, which means you summon 2 of the big guy off of it, which is hilarious and means you can immediately summon Nova if you need to. 3 Power Bond. This is our finisher. This is the card we're just digging through our deck to find. We want this ASAP. Just always want to have it. 1 Overload Fusion for the times that we can't resolve Bond. But honestly, we're playing this more as a target for Predaplant, Verta, Anaconda. We don't want to draw into Overload Fusion. If we do, we can always pitch it for Cyberdark Chimera's effect, but we really don't want to resolve this. We really want it to be either pitched off of Chimera or Vergon Anaconda. 3 cyber emergencies. This is our next searcher. If we don't open core, we activate emergency to get core. It also has the weird effect. If the activation of this card in its owner's possession was negated by an opponent's card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can discard one and add it back to the hand. So if they ash this, if they ash cyber emergency's effect, you can add it back to the hand. It doesn't come up super frequently, but it's there if you need to. We're playing 1 repair plant. Back in the day, we ran 3 of this because it was our only option for a searcher, but it does require that there's a cyberdragon in the graveyard for its effect to be activated, which means it's just less consistent than emergency, but it's nice to have the one of for those times because it can grab things that emergency can't. Emergency can only grab light machine monsters that can't be normal summoned or set, or cyberdragon, which means in this deck it only grabs the cyberdragon monsters. But repair plant can grab any light machine, so that means it can grab Jizakira, the Star Destroying Kaiju. It can grab Galaxy Soldier. It can't grab Theron Keg Regulus, unfortunately, but being able to grab Jiz and Galaxy Soldier comes up quite frequently. 2 Lightning Storm. This is just here because we're in a blind going second deck, and Lightning Storm is incredibly powerful when you're going second. Cyberdark Realm. We are running just 1 of this. I'm going to read this card for you guys because I don't know how many of you know what this actually does, but because it has the word cyber in its name, it can be searched off of core. When this card is activated, you can add 1 Cyberdark monster from your deck to your hand with a different name from the cards in your graveyard. We're not running any Cyberdarks except for Chimera, so this can only grab Chimera, and it will never not be able to activate because of the graveyard effect. And during your main phase, you can immediately, after this effect resolves, normal summon 1 Cyberdark monster. This gives you an additional normal summon, which is not only great for farming out your Master Duel dailies, but also just great for getting Chimera onto the field. The rest of this effect doesn't matter, but you can only use the previous effect of Cyberdark Realm once per turn. If a equipped monster from your graveyard by the effect of a Cyberdark monster that is activated when it was normal or special summoned, you can equip monsters from your opponent's graveyard instead. Yeah, not fantastic. We don't use the equip effects, so that part has, I genuinely always forget that is even on this card. It has never come up. Clockwork Knights. Knight, not knights. Knight, singular. All face-up monsters on the field become machine-type monsters. That's the effect that matters, because that means every single monster your opponent controls is now material for Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. You can make this thing out of anything. Your opponent builds whatever board they want, you special summon Cyber Dragon from your hand, you activate Clockwork Knights, and then all of their monsters have just become material for your Chimera. Or, I'm sorry, not for Chimera, for Fortress Dragon. It's sick. But in addition, all machine-type monsters you control gain 500 attack, and all machine-type monsters your opponent controls lose 500 attack. And this effect does come up. You can banish this card from your graveyard to discard 1 card and add 1 Earth Machine from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Clockwork Knights once per turn. So, in the event that this card is destroyed, or in the event that you send it for Chimera's effect, you can banish it from the graveyard, discard a card, and add Regulus from deck to hand. It's a sick, sick play. It's awesome. Called by the Grave at 2. You need it. You have to run it. And Nobleman's Crossout, or not Nobleman's Crossout, Crossout Designator, functioning as our 3rd copy of Called by the Grave. It's as simple as that. That is the main deck. Into the extra deck, we've obviously got 2 copies of Rampage Dragon. This is our game winner. We've got 1 copy of Cyber Twin Dragon. This sometimes is better than Rampage. There are select circumstances where I would rather have Cyber Twin Dragon on my field because it has more attack points. So if I know something is going to get negated, like if I know Rampage Dragon's double attack is going to get negated, like if I know my opponent has an Ash in hand, Cyber Twin Dragon can really pick up the slack and win you the game. Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. This is just you just make this to steal your opponent's monsters. It does not matter if this thing dies, you just make it to steal your opponent's monsters. Cyber End Dragon doesn't really need to be in here, but sometimes piercing damage can come up and be impactful. For instance, if your opponent's playing like Crooked Cook Exodia, and they're just going to make Crooked Cook and sit on it all game, you can win the game by End Dragon. And they really don't have a way to get around it. Mega Fleet is the same as Fortress Dragon, except it's a little bit easier to make. You just use your opponent's Link monsters to make it. You don't need them to be machine type. Cyber Eternity Dragon is really just a spot filler. I make this very rarely, almost never. But if a machine type fusion monster is in your graveyard, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. Also, it can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. If a fusion summon monster is sent to the graveyard by opponent's card effect, I can special summon one Cyber Dragon from my hand, deck, or graveyard. And then you can banish this card from your graveyard, and for the rest of the turn, fusion monsters you control with card effects can't be destroyed by opponent's card effects. It almost never comes up. Sometimes, if you're forced to go first, you'll make this if you can't make one of the XCs, but I really don't want to. Barbaroid, the Ultimate Battle Machine. This card is hilarious. This card's so funny. It takes 5 machine-type Roid monsters to make. We cannot make this card naturally in the deck. It can make a second attack during each battle phase, though it can't attack directly. And after damage calculation, if it attacked an opponent's monster, negate the effects of the monster, including in the graveyard. And then if it's destroyed by battle somehow... If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, they take 1,000 damage. So why is this in the deck? We can't make it, right? Wrong! Cyber Nova Dragon exists, and Cyber Nova Dragon has this funny little line of text. If this card in your possession is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon one machine-type fusion monster from your extra deck. Hilarious. Ugh. Excuse me. A bunch of fusions can't be summoned off of this because they have to be summoned properly, but Barbaroid can be. So a lot of times people will destroy Cyber Nova Dragon trying to stop you from getting to infinity, and they forget, or just straight up don't know, because a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players can't read, about this little line of text at the bottom. So you get to summon Barbaroid. This happens a lot of the times when somebody Nibiru's you, because they want to activate Nibiru before you make Infinity, because Infinity can negate Nibiru. So they activate Nibiru on Nova, and you get to summon out Barbaroid for free. It's hilarious. Very funny. Cyber Infinity Dragon is the best Cyber Dragon card ever printed. If it was easier to make, this is what I would be going for. But it's just... Well, also, because it's a negate effect, this is just a resource engine. It just stops your opponent from playing Yu-Gi-Oh, which is great, but it's only once per turn. It's only really works if you have multiple copies of it on the field, but if you're forced to go first, you want to make Infinity. Salamangreat Almirage is just an oh shit button in case you can't get to anything else, and you only have your normal summon. You just summon Almirage. Cyber Dragon Seeger is here to be a name. Its effect is okay, but really what it's here for is its name is Cyber Dragon while it's on the field or in the graveyard. And lastly, Predapant Verdant Anaconda we've already kind of talked about, but you pay 2,000, you send your copy of Overload Fusion to graveyard, and you can make Rampage Dragon in a pinch. Alright, with the deck profile out of the way, let's get to the games. Alright, here we are with the first replay. I wanted to show you guys what you do with this deck, even if you brick, how you could still win. This is going against a Blue Eyes deck, and you can see here, this is a terrible hand. We are going second, so there is a chance we draw into something, but Ash Blossom, Machine Dupe, Power Bond, and both of our copies of Lightning Storm is not a pretty picture. Let's see what I did here. Alright. Our opponent also bricked. Oh, I'm sorry, that's just straight up incorrect. Actually, I was forced to go first this game, and I could not play a single card in my hand. That's what it was. Yeah. I was forced to go first this game. I could not play a single card in my hand. None of these have an effect going first. The only thing I could do would be set Ash Blossom, but I wasn't sure what my opponent was playing, and if they were playing something like Cyberdragon, something that requires me to have a monster on the field, I didn't want to give them that advantage. Plus, if they weren't able to attack over Ash Blossom, Lightning Storm. So, yep, I just take the 3,000 to the face. Alright, now I get to play the game. Nope, I don't get to play the game at all. So I Lightning Storm here, targeting their back row. This was a deliberate choice. I targeted their back row to basically trick them into thinking I was stupid. I wasn't sure what they had back there. If it was Eternal Soul or something, it would have been a problem. So I targeted their back row, even knowing that Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, would protect their back row. So yeah, that's why I did it. Then I set Ash Blossom because I was scared of getting one-tapped by 6,000 attack points. So luckily, the Ash Blossom actually saves me here. I'm left at 400 life points after these attacks. So now, they think I don't have anything. I'm going to start here. I'm going to Lightning Storm, targeting their front row this time. I'm going to destroy all their monsters because they're all in attack position now. And there we go. Now I normal core, add emergency, activate machine duplication, summon 2 Cyber Dragons, emergency, grab Nashter, activate Power Bond, fusing for Rampage. Rampage effect activates, target their back row, pop 2. Activate Rampage effect, send 2 Cyber Dragons, grab Nashter back, and now I can go to battle phase. And I win the game. So even bricked, if you're playing against a deck like Blue Eyes, for instance, you can win. I guess this is more a testament to how bad Blue Eyes is as a deck in the modern age. But let me show you what happens against a good deck. This is against Snake Eyes Fire King, which is still incredibly powerful. We're going second here. Alright, so draw phase, immediately activate Maxi. Just let it rip. If it gets called, it's fine. Like, because at least at that point, you're getting rid of their call. You can't play around Called by the Grave, Ash Blossom, all of that. You want to just let Maxi go off rip, because at least then you're getting rid of their pieces that could interrupt during your turn. So we're just going to watch them go through full Snake Eyes combo here. What was it? Sit Throat. Diabell Star, Sinful Spoils, into Snake Eyes Ash, into Poplar. You've seen this hundreds of times. Poplar into Divine Temple. There you go. Make Oak. And look at them go. They are Snake Eyesing all over the place. There's Flamberge into IP at Masquerena. Flamberge effect, get the Poplar back and the Ash back. Make Link Karibo. Link off into Princess. Promethean Princess. Get the IP Masquerena in the backguard. Make Train. I mean, how many times have you seen this before? Okay. This is a scary board. This is a very scary board. They've got Train, which, if this card is destroyed, you can target one Link 3 or lower monster in your graveyard, special summon it. They've got IP Masquerena in the back row. As a quick effect, they can bring IP Masquerena forward. They've got Flamberge. They've got the Temple. They've got everything. This is everything a Snake Eyes deck wants. They Flamberge. They make Masquerena come forward. I activate Lightning Storm. I target all attack position monsters they control. At least this way, I can force them to do something. The plan here was to force them to resolve Masquerena effect if they wanted to keep Masquerena on board. Let's see what they do. They let everything get destroyed. Train effect. Snake Eyes. Called by the Grave, targeting Flamberge. Get rid of it. I let them make Masquerena. Again. I activate Emergency. I grab Cyberdragon Core. I normal summon Core. I activate Core effect. They get to summon Oak out. I grab Cyberdark Realm. Oak Effect, they grab Ash. Now they can make a Link 4. Now they can make a Link 4. They should have made Goddess of the Underworld here, but they don't. Instead, they activate Masquerade Effect, they make Appaloosa, and they lose the game. This was the dumbest thing they could have done, because they made a Link monster. They made a Link monster, I summon Mega Fleet. I activate Realm again, I summon Chimera, I pitch for Power Bond, I activate Chimera's effect with Power Bond so I can banish to summon Rampage Dragon. Now Rampage Dragon effect activates, I pop 2 spells, I send 2, now I've got enough attack points to win the game. They messed up by resolving Masquerena. If they wouldn't have resolved Masquerena, I wouldn't have been able to summon Mega Fleet. And that's why you're losing Yu-Gi-Oh games. You're extending too far, even against bad decks. Cyberdragon is not a good deck. This is a bad deck. I play it because I think it's very funny to win this way. I love OTKing. I love Rampage Dragon. I think it's a very funny card. And this guy just lost because he overextended. If he wouldn't have overextended, I would have had a much harder time beating him. But he got rid of all of his resources to make a strong card, Appaloosa, while I had materials for Mega Fleet on field. So, I hope you learned something about Yu-Gi-Oh! Today. And maybe give this deck a try. I'm a little scared that I'm leaking my secret sauce, and now everybody that sees me on Master Duel ranked is going to be like, oh, this fucker's playing Cyberdragon. I play other decks, okay? But a lot of times I am playing Cyberdragon. Anyway, hope you guys are having a great day, and I will catch you in the next one. See ya.